Welcome to my channel. Sorry, looking at certain things. Um, Welcome. Um, Today I'm just gonna talk about anything in general, basically. Random stuff. It's just one of those days. I actually caught a news article slash YouTube video as well too, honestly, about Clear. I talked in one of my earlier videos, if you ever seen it, about Clear, and the benefits of it. Like, is it better than pre TSA? And I said, not really. Oops, sorry, I'm going to be messing with the thing happening live, um, which with Clear, basically, where if Clear was better than pre TSA check, or um, does it help? Is it worth it? Basically, me, I'll say this, just full disclaimer. I have the Amex Platinum, so the Clear is actually covered for me as a perk. So I don't pay full price for it. Although for my wife, I kind of do when it was an inadvertent purchase, because they said, "Oh yeah, you can do it." I said, "Well, I already have one, so if I do it, can it be, a sub, one of those as a added a member to it, which would be subsidized, or not subsidized, but more added member. It would be cheaper than paying full price." And apparently, I'm paying full price. So I got to give them a call and basically tell them, like, "Look, cancel the price, cancel the thing. I want it as my added member." Any case, to the point. One of the things is, as of recently, lately, for the past year to 2 years, basically since 2022, there was talk of, well, not talk, but as far as there have been some breaches via Clear, and it's very minimal. But there were three separate instances, two cases where basically a person was, two cases where these individuals were able to bypass the verification check, by having a pre-boarding pass, and like basically one of them actually fished out a boarding pass from the garbage, was able to get past, not TSA per se, but the, as far as the identification part, but they still have to go through the screening. And so, and then there was another part as well too, where an individual basically was waved on through by Clear personnel to the, to the front, basically, and then passed without having to take out his ID, and then basically getting caught at the TSA screening because he had ammunition pretty much on person, or in his bag, or whatever it may be. But in that situation, but it proves up a point, though, is it wasn't a case of the actual physical system itself having issues. It was more of the individual, the employees of that, either were not properly trained, or two, they just didn't care, or three, they acted like a bad actor. So it comes to the point of, like, you know what, people can eventually, I want to say, bypass these, well, yeah, they could bypass the Clear, or even TSA in ways, but more so to the point, like, if they wanted to pass to the point where, like, they need to get past the TSA screening, that's a different story. But as far as, like, getting the first area, or the first checkpoint, which is basically showing identification, that's what Clear is supposed to do. Is basically, you don't have to do that on every random check, randomly. Basically, they would just basically have one, that person basically pull out their identification just to make sure that it's correct. So now it's one of those things where the TSA is basically asking for, like, all Clear members. Basically, you're gonna have to show identification. Honestly, I don't know what the issue is with that. It's just really, the whole purpose of the Clear experience is to basically go bypass the line, but still show up to the screening. You still need an individual there to show up to the screening, basically, to get past that at that point, anyways. So you're not bypassing screening. You're just bypassing the fact of, like, users, people online, to get through the ID check first. You still have to go through the ID check in a ways, but like, you get bypassed or waved on in, through Clear every now and then. But the thing is like, honestly, that's one extra minute or two, basically 1 or 2 minutes extra, basically, where you just give out your ID, like your license or whatever it may be, and I was like, all right, they verify that who you are, and then you can go on in. I don't know what the problem is with that. People are having issues with that. I don't, per se. It's just more of a case where I think the bigger issue is you're paying for the identification part, like the verification part. and that's what I think people have an issue with, and I could see that from that aspect. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but you're really bypassing the line. That's all it really is. Now, pre TSA, you still have to show your ID, but you get to not have to. 1 second. Sorry. You get to not essentially take out your laptop, take off your belt, take off your jacket, or take off your shoes. That's the whole difference between pre-TSA and clear at this one. With clear, you still, I mean, it's possible you can do a clear pre-TSA type of thing where if there's a long line pre-TSA, clear get you in front of that line. That'd be great. I don't think that actually happens, but if it is, that'd be great. I would love to do that, quite honestly. Sorry, I'm just drinking some green tea. So that's that aspect, honestly, or that rant. I don't think people should worry too much about the clear thing, and for those that are unclear, I mean, eventually clear will have to raise up its prices that for people so that not many users can use it. But at the same time, my concern is if clear gets you past screening as well, that's where I'm a little concerned about. Because again, a lot of this, again, these fail safes that were bypassed, it was really human error more than anything else. Let's put it that way. It was human error. It wasn't a case of like the system error itself. It was more of human error. And at the same cases, maybe bad actors can still bribe off some of these human actors or employees to get past one certain aspect. So it also brings up another interesting factor is like, all right, what if you were to bribe your way of some TSA individuals to get past the TSA screening as well too? What do you do then? Let's be. I'll be upfront and let's be honest here. TSA employees, those security screeners, don't get paid a hell of a lot. So if someone's offering them like $100,000 just to pass on in, would they say no to it? I don't know. I mean, definitely probably wearing their conscience, I think, unless they have no conscience, but I don't know. So that's one thing that you've got to look at and be, consider at that point. Because, like, again, people can be bought. People can be bought. It's just a matter of how much you're willing to pay, shell out to get past all these safeguards. Now, AI might be a different story, though, where utilizing AI and help complementing it from that perspective might work on that aspect as well too. Problem is, some people might think it's like, oh well, like it's the computers, we can't replace humans. I don't think I'm not saying replacing the humans. It's more of a case of just like creating an aspect of as a complementary aspect more than anything else. Because like humans can still, they're going to be tired. Sometimes they'll be tired and their like eyes are like I'm sleepy. Things just pass on in, or like sometimes they might have something in their eye or whatever. Maybe sometimes they might have a brain fart or two. They might be in some emotional state where they just don't catch it. That's where AI comes into play at that point as well too. So like I can't alert them at that point. It's like, oh wait, whoosh, like hey, there's a whatever. I don't know what this item is. Let's flag them down and that's it. And that's for TSA. This is for screening, of course. This is for screening. As far as getting on board, though, getting past the ID part, there's not much to it. I think you still have to do an ID check. You still need to do an ID check, quite honestly. It makes more sense to pull out your IDs. I don't think there's a big issue. Honestly, if it's a concern of like people, not having to go with the gun, you know what? Facial recognition. Have a camera, facial recognition right there, boom, you're on, in. That's it. You don't have to take out your ID. If you're in a clear membership, maybe put the facial recognition with the individual, so that it like takes a picture of you and like, all right, this is the individual, and it's associated to, and it ties into the, actually, if you have facial recognition tied into your ticket for the airline, that person's flying now, today, versus let's say tomorrow, the day before and missed their flight. It's aware of that at that point. They can be flagged from that perspective as well too. I don't think that's a harm in that aspect, and I will not be surprised if Clear is going to be doing that. I would not be surprised Clear utilizing generative AI identifying individuals from not only from their terminals, but also putting these cameras on the TSA officer for when they're doing ID checks. It could work out. It could also help expedite things a little bit faster too. The only thing is of course, you need your some sort of facial recognition or biometrics stored on Clear though. And the thing is, then at that point, Clear becomes vulnerable. Not vulnerable, but like vulnerable to potential hacker attacks at that point. That's one thing, but that's on Clear at that point as well too, or even the TSA. But that's my rant about Clear and the whole TSA thing right now. Well, it's not a rant; it's more of an informative type of thing. But some of the stuff that needs to be done. What else should I talk about? I might talk about Clear a little bit more, more in depth, as well as TSA stuff, and more in depth in a separate video, not a live. Today I just figured to live because, like, if you know my channels, I made a resolution to always stream live once a week, every week, at least till the end of the year, about anything or everything, anything basically at this point. I think I streamed on Monday to remember what I talked about, but I'm like, all right, let me stream today. And the other thing is like now the fact I'm streaming to both, not only to YouTube but also to Twitch as well too. So, do I have any games? I don't play video. Well, I do play, but I don't have a gaming laptop or a game setup just yet. When I do, I'm scared of if I do it, I'll go back to my old ways of sometimes calling out sick for work just to play video games. I've done that maybe once in the past, a couple of times in the past. I'll admit that I've done that a couple of times in the past. Not a recent, but 10 years ago and earlier than that, I've done that just to play a video game, like Metal Gear Solid or something like that, because I was so engrossed in it. Or Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. I'm not sure how else to. Yeah, that's on that aspect. I don't know anything else. If you are sending a chat to me, please let me know. I don't know if I can see chats. I'm kind of curious to see if I'm using Restream to basically stream it to both these two different channels. Kind of curious if I can see the chats from both of them, honestly. I know there's going to be delay, of course, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out as well too. I wanted to go to Austin and or Vegas for the Formula Ones. That looks like it might not happen, unfortunately. I have a few things going on around that time, so I might have to skip them. But it's a little too early to tell, but it's seemingly looking like that right now. I should probably start streaming from my phone with YouTube, YouTube on my phone. Basically, I don't know if there's a Restream app on for the mobile aspect of things. Maybe I think there is. Probably I don't know. I have to look. If there is, I'll probably start streaming from my phone as well every now and then as well. Now the fact that YouTube kind of opened up streaming. Now that you can stream, I think I'm like whatever it is, 100 users. I don't know what it was, but the barrier to start streaming live, they opened it up. I think because Twitch started becoming more and more popular, and they were garnering more and more users away from YouTube. And if you've seen my channel, you'll see one of my videos I describe which is probably better, Twitch or YouTube. I don't go in as in depth in detail. If you want me to go in depth in detail, please let me know. Just leave it in the comment section. But high level, basically, I basically said it depends what you're trying to do. If you're doing gaming, Twitch makes more sense. If you're trying to stream like this, probably YouTube makes more sense more than anything else. If you want to make money off of something, then YouTube probably makes more sense more than anything else. For me, I just want to create a sort of platform to talk with other people in general, basically. Maybe even podcast a little bit as well too, or build out a podcast eventually. I don't know. Try to see if I can do that with my wife. I tell my wife basically with her and her friend that's out in Jersey, they should do a podcast about some of these reality TV shows that that's out there. I mean, I know they haven't. My wife hasn't watched as much, but she can get back to it very easily. I think they should look into it and talk about it. I should also talk about create a video about the latest episode of Murder in the Buildings with Steve Martin and Martin Short and Vanessa Selena Gomez. I'll probably talk about that. I'll create a video for that as well too. For those in the Midwest and Southwest or South, hopefully you're staying cool. I hope there's no issues going on there. I know it's hot. You're going through a heat wave. Good luck with that. I'm not going to talk about even though it happened yesterday, maybe I should, but I'm not going to talk about the Republican primary debate. I'll probably create a video down the line after the second one, because the first one, I think you're seeing things getting ironed out a little bit. Honestly, Vivek, whatever his name is, I forgot his name. I'm not even going to bother to look up his name. I mean, he's Indian, but you know what? He seems like a smart individual, but he's going the Trump route, and that's something I don't believe in. Nikki Haley, from what I'm, at least Nikki Haley, I think came out. I feel like Nikki Haley came out the winner from this debate, showing that for the non-Trump Republican Party, that I think they found their candidate. She makes absolutely more sense. For those that are more pro-Trump, I don't know. Vivek, I can see what his strategy is. He's probably setting himself up. I think he knows he won't win the presidency, but he's trying to set himself up to either be on the ticket with Trump or to be in his cabinet, like a high echelon cabinet member, which could probably make sense as well too. Honestly, I don't know, but that's what it seems like everyone. I think that's what everyone's garnering to seeing what they're. Not garnering, but I think everyone's forecasting. That's what will happen most likely. Is he'll probably be on Trump's running ticket. Not running ticket, but on the ticket with Trump. Basically, he'll be on the ticket with Trump. Will be Pence for sure. Because the thing is, you could tell that Vivek was basically aligning himself and playing into the Trump crowd more than anything else, but saying the fact, I was like, hey, I'm willing to basically pardon Trump. Everyone else wasn't. Seems like he was willing to, so it's more of a playing to the Trump crowd. Now, I could say that that's not the right move, but he's taking a playbook from Trump himself. Because you can see all the snarky comments he was making, especially towards Nikki Haley and Pence and Christie. Because I think DeSantis, you saw that DeSantis was just a no one on there. Unless he comes out strong in the second primary debate, I don't think we're going to see anything going on here at this point with DeSantis. I think he just lost his momentum. And it's a matter of whoever does really well in this primary debate is the one that's going to be going strong against Trump. Which could be most likely, in this case, Nikki Haley, more than anyone else. DeSantis, I think, is pretty much done. Because everyone was talking earlier, let's not forget, everyone was talking about earlier, DeSantis should be the one, he's the popular one, and Haley should be his running mate, basically. It's looking that it should be, I don't want to say the vice versa, but I think Haley knows full well that DeSantis is not the right person to be on the ticket. Haley needs someone that she can trust, and I think more to be honest, Christie probably makes more sense in this case as a running mate more than anything else for her. I mean, she's got the South, and by getting him, you got the Northeast basically. Honestly, if she can beat out Trump, that is. That's the whole thing. Is if she can beat out Trump. Remember, let's not forget, Trump is still a force. He's still a force. He's still got that base, that Trump base. If anyone can dethrone him, it probably will be Nikki Haley. Everyone's thinking DeSantis, but again, he's probably losing steam to the point that's why you saw Pence attacking Vivek very quickly, easily. Not very quickly, easily, but very quickly, seeing his momentum shifting up and going up in the polls, that he was going to be overtaken by him. So that's why he started attacking him. Same thing with Christie. But Christie, you're expecting him to be expecting what he did in 2016, what he did to Rubio, that he probably could do this to Vivek. It seemed like he didn't come out with the guns blazing, but I could see probably either. I mean, there were some aspects where he did. It was pretty funny. The fact of the ChatGPT comment, that was pretty funny. But let's see what happens in the next two debates. What he does and how he interacts with Vivek and how that goes about as well too. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, honestly, I'm like at a loss. I know this is one of those channels where I should be, or videos I should be talking about something, but have something sort of prepared. But for me, like I said, I'm one of those guys that basically love to go unscripted, just off the top of my head, on the cuff, off the cuff, if I'm saying that right. Sorry. And I also get easily distracted because like I have a window right out in front of me if you want to see. So like I see so many things there that I can get easily distracted. So I do apologize for that if I'm like my focus is on somewhere else basically. Yeah, I mean the weather is pretty nice out here in the West Coast, so I can't argue about that. I gotta fix this up a little bit, of course. Sorry. I haven't done much of meetups, tech meetups. I should probably just start doing that. Living in New York, I was able to do that in the city a lot because it was very easy to do. Right after work, just go right there, and you had the transportation. Here in California, it's not so easy, especially in Orange County. You've got to basically have a car to get to places, and I don't want to do that. But I don't want to drive, honestly. And I've talked about as far as gas versus electric, it is EV the right way to go or such. I mean, it's out there. I should do a comparison of T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon speed testing, as well as network coverage and such. I think there's so many out there, but I might as well do it out there and put it out there for you guys as well too, just to let you see for a random individual. If you want me to do that, please let me know in the comments. Also, I could talk about other stuff too. I've talked about like tech stuff, like I'm actually thinking of considering. I'm actually considering and covering about DuckDB. Seems pretty interesting how that works, that storage engine, and how it works off basically, and like how Postgres is starting to use it as well too, and how DuckDB could be an alternative to Snowflake, Synapse, Databricks, anyways. And Redshift. There's also CockroachDB as well as Yugabyte, of course. Let's not forget those two. I don't know. It's kind of interesting how things are progressing with each of these, how tech is progressing. And then, of course, there's quantum computing as well, too. If you want to know about quantum computing, let me know in the comment section. I'll gladly talk about quantum computing. I remember someone asked me about quantum computing, like, can I tell them about quantum computing? And I was a loaded question, like, what does he need to know exactly? And it's just telling you, just to explain it in layman's term wasn't as straightforward as I thought it would be. But now I kind of got it at this point, I guess. But can I put it in like 3 sentences? Not really. I'd still have to explain it a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised with chips now being massively redesigned for quantum computing, quantum chips being the new norm at this point. NVIDIA is focusing more on GPUs for AI. Don't be surprised for any other market leaders to emerge in the silicon space for quantum chips. Specifically in China for that matter, unfortunately, because China has all the resources to build out these quantum chips, of course, as well too. So let's not forget that. Anyways, it's already been 25 minutes. My lives, I usually try to keep my lives at least 30 minutes more than anything else when I'm discussing something. If I'm broadcasting something, I will probably, if it's a game or something like that, I'll probably leave it a little bit longer depending on how long my phone battery lasts, as well as if it basically burns out. as in getting hot, because my phone does get hot every now and then when I try to stream live. It's happened to me quite a number of times. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I do read my comments when I get notified, and when they do warrant a response. With that, yeah. And for those that haven't subscribed, I do ask if you subscribe. Please subscribe if you do love my content, like my video, like my channel. And if you have subscribed, I thank you for that. Please don't let this video turn you away. I do say this though, is like, you don't have to turn on the notifications. I ask you not to turn on the notifications. It's not worth it to just turn on the notifications, unless I'm starting to push out breaking news content, or breaking content, or not breaking content, but breaking news content more than anything else. Like you've got to know very quickly. Then maybe that's a different story. Then you might want to turn on notifications. But at that point, honestly, I don't do that because I don't find that much information very quickly. It's like it kind of feels, basically. Comes down to me, trickles down to me basically on a slow. I'm on the low end of the totem pole of a bunch of these things basically. That's one thing I need to get away from now, is being the fact I'm on the low totem pole for when it comes to tech information and tech. I used to be there, like aware of all the new bleeding edge stuff out there, and now I'm like with some of the things I haven't looked at it. I mean, Streamlit. I was aware of Streamlit. I didn't really work with it, but now I'm looking into it with DuckDB. Those two together but those two together will be very useful. And DuckDB put it this way, DuckDB with Iceberg. And I've talked about Iceberg as well as Hoodie are going to be interesting technologies, or are interesting technologies, but Iceberg is an interesting technology that should be used. I mean, Databricks already has something similar to it with, basically Delta Lake and Delta tables. Snowflake's now starting to incorporate Iceberg to compete with Databricks for that Delta aspect of things. Don't be surprised if like Redshift with Amazon, as well as Azure with Synapse competes with them as well too. If they could do that, that'd be great. But I don't think they're there yet, just yet. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. Again, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section, what I should cover.